Good evening. Can you guys hear me?
Loud and clear.
All right, perfect. Hey, Kev, how are you?
Doing good, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great. Doing well. Let's see who else we got. Hey, Mara.
Hey, Bob, how are you?
Great. You?
I'm good.
Awesome. Awesome. I think we should be all good if you need to skedaddle off. Sure, you had a long day already.
It has been a long one. Listen, you guys have a great meeting.
Awesome. Thanks, Mara. Hey, Judy Ann.
Yes, I think I got it.
Yeah, very good. We can see you and hear you. That's beautiful. And got Geraldine joining us. Let's see. Might be a smaller group tonight. Everybody's worn out. Everybody's up late last night waiting for states to be called. Or the rest of us just went to sleep and said, yeah, I'm going to get up
they didn't
tomorrow.
get my attention.
What's that?
They didn't get my attention.
See, that a boy, you are too busy working those buyers, making sure they made all four of those criteria.
Exactly.
I love it. That is beautiful. I love it. You know, Kevin, I got to tell you, I haven't had anybody laminate those four criteria yet. That's a first. Did you laminate them, or are they just on a card?
No, you know how when I first started out, I printed my own business cards on that Avery cardstock.
Oh, yeah.
And it was terrible. So I didn't know what to do with the blanks. So
Yeah.
I broke them apart and I use them as scratch paper now.
Oh, perfect. Good deal. That's great.
I put it in with my business cards.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Hold them right there. Hey, Barbara Ann.
Hey.
Good evening.
How are you? Good evening. Boy, I was freaking out. My internet went out for a while. It just came on.
Well, see, it's perfect timing.
Absolutely.
That is perfect timing. All right. Let's see. You got more. Join us. Geraldine, how are you? I don't know if you're muted. I don't think you're muted, but we can't hear you or see you. That's all right. Okay, let's get going. I'm going to try and see if we can sneak through this and make sure we get everything covered today and try and get done maybe within an hour. That'd be very unique for me in 100K. Usually I say an hour and a half, it ends up being closer to 2. So how about if I say an hour and a half, get it closer to 1, so we can average it out, and we'll be back on track if I can do it for the next couple meetings. So let me pull up today's PowerPoint. Everybody doing all right, by the way?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Good deal. So I love to hear.
Good day.
Good day.
Yeah, it was. We got a phenomenal pallet of food in today for the children's home. Everything was appropriate for them. And I found out they haven't had cereal for over a month.
At Hope?
At Hope, yeah. And we ended up with 5 cases on our pallet today. So
5 cases of cereal or 5 cases of food, period?
5 cases of cereal. We had, we had over 64 cases of food, and I had 24 cases of drinks. And they were all
beautiful.
Propel and Jesus.
Back in the day, when I was helping out over there and helping raise funds and do that, I know, I think it seems like for some reason it rings like Sun Toyota would donate all the milk. They were just they sponsored all the milk. And we're giving the milk at one point, which I think is great. How many kids do they have on campus now?
They have 80, and they have some more young ones coming in, because I took size 4 diapers today and checking with her, and she said that's great because they have 2 and 3-year-olds. I think they have 4.
Because they have those cottages now, right, where they can keep all the families together?
Yes, and they have house parents in each cottage, which, yes, it's absolutely awesome. So they're not in dormitories anymore.
That's beautiful. If you guys haven't had a chance, I'll just do a quick, let's see, make sure we get, I'll go to multi-people view. Barbara Ann invests and donates time at Hope Children's Home. Yeah. And I got an echo. Can you guys hear that echo?
Yeah.
I thought someone was mimicking me.
Oh,
I think it
good.
just went away. You know how you do when you have a pesky brother that But anyway, so Hope Children's Home, if you don't know, it's like right kind of almost right in the heart center of Town and Country. Is that called Town and Country? Would you consider it there? Where is that, Barbara Ann?
No, they're off of Anderson Boulevard. They're out in the country. They got 68 acres.
Yeah, you'd never know, but it's surrounded by subdivisions, really, you know. But it's a
Right,
68
yeah.
acres. There's a horse farm right next to it, so it's great. You'd never know it's there, and they do a phenomenal job. At the time, they usually service anywhere from 70 to 100 kids, completely no government assistance at all, $0 of the government, and they have a school there, and
Yep.
they don't ask any questions. Parents can come and just drop them off, right? Because it's not through the foster system and all this kind of stuff. And it's pretty amazing. Matter of fact, it's probably been 8 years now, 7 or 8 years. Sometime I'll repost that video, but we did a thing. My church I was attending had something called Both Hands Ministry. I got to tell you the story real quick, and I promise I'll still get you out in an hour. But Both Hands, Two Hands Ministry was this. This guy at my church I was attending here in Brentwood, Tennessee, got a letter from one of his buddies. No, he was gonna, this guy was going to raise funds for some nonprofit, right? So they were going to do a golf tournament, like, you know, they always do golf tournaments, right? So he sent out letters to all his friends, and he said, hey, will you sponsor me, you know, $10 for every hole of golf I play or something like that. We're trying to raise money for such and such, right? For the Widows Fund or whatever.
Mhm.
And his friend wrote him back and said, hey, Chuck, maybe if you are helping the widows out instead of playing golf, I might donate the funds. The guy's like, what?
Wow.
So he kind of got offended, right? He was like, man, that's rough, dude. But he got to thinking, it stroked his heart. So he decided, you know what? He's got a point. So what they did is actually, the thing that we're trying to raise money for, it's all coming back to me now. They were trying to raise money because there was a family that was going to adopt 4 people from Romania. And this family was very willing to do it, but didn't have the money, right? Because it costs a lot of money to adopt internationally, right?
Yeah.
And so they didn't have the money. So he said, what if we could raise the money? So what he got this idea says, we're going to have, you know, because there's a verse in the Bible that says, take care of the widows and the orphans, right? And so he said, what if we could, hey, Jean.
Hi,
Hey.
how are you? Good to
Great.
see you. Go with that story. I love that story.
Oh, it's great. And so what if we could help both simultaneously? So instead of doing a golf tournament, what he did is they found a widow in East Nashville, right, who needed her house fixed up. And they got together a group of some of the people who were going to adopt these 6 kids or these 4 kids, other kids in the youth group and all that stuff. They sent out letters and say, hey, will you sponsor me for every hour that I work on this widow's home? And the money we make from the sponsorship, we're going to donate to the family who's going to adopt these kids. So it's both hands. With both hands, one hand they're helping the widow, one hand they're helping the orphan, right?
That's a great
So they
idea.
did it. Yeah, it's awesome, right? So a matter of fact, I got goosebumps just thinking about him telling me the story. Jeanette and I were working in the nursery. I can picture it now. And he was in the nursery and was rocking a kid in the nursery at church. And he was telling me the story, how he came up with the idea of this ministry. And so they go and they do it, and they end up raising like $80,000. So they fix up this lady's home, and they had it all videoed. It was awesome. They picked her up, and her daughter came over, and they took this older, probably in her 70s lady, African-American lady, her and her daughter, they picked them up in a limo, and they took them to a day spa to get all pampered for the day, right? And then they just totally renovated the home, replaced the roof, all new appliances, ripped out the kitchen, just like one of those kind of makeover things, right? But they had like 100 people attacking this home, and in 8 hours, they did all this work, right? And she came back, and it's all painted and everything else. But not only did they help her, but they also raised 80 grand for this family that was going to adopt these 4 kids.
Mhm.
I said, boy, that is awesome, right?
That's really an awesome idea, because golf tournaments, just to put them on, cost so much
Right.
money.
It's like a walkathon, right? It's like, hey, walkathon, what'd you do? Well, we walked 5 miles. Did the 5 miles really change? Did you know what I mean? Was there anything, I guess if you picked up trash along the way, that'd be great, or something like that. But really, did you affect any change on what you were doing to do it? And so when I was working out with Hope, right, I really fell in love with the Hope Children's Home, which is this one that we're talking about in Tampa, because they do just a phenomenal job with no government assistance and everything else. And I thought, what if I did that? What if I did something like that? So I put an all call out to our agents, and we found a widow foster mom who had just lost her husband. She is a widow. She was a widow, but also the foster mother of 6 children living in Holiday, right? And so her home needed all sorts of work. So we, as a future home family, and I'll have to repost the video because I got a really cool video about it. We did this very thing. So we did actually took us a day and a half. We weren't as fast, and but we totally renovated her home. Agents sent out letters, and they got sponsors. So we raised like 40 grand for Hope Children's Home. All right, to do that, and then also simultaneously we picked and totally renovated her home. Picked her up, did the same thing. She and her daughter went to Safety Harbor Resort and Spa for the day, got pampered, and all that kind of stuff, had a spa day, and came back, and they had all new beds, all new kitchen. There's a great video. Jim Shands, I told you, is just a genius with this stuff. And he is like as handy as all get out. So he was kind of the contractor, if you will, without a contractor's license, directing us all. And we did all sorts of stuff. So it's really cool. I'll repost the video sometime and show it to you. It was really cool.
We need to do that again.
I know. And it was a lot of work, boy. At the end of the day, I was like, holy smokes. But 40 grand was awesome to raise money, and we got to deliver the check for Hope and all that. So it's a lot of fun. So if you get a chance, check out Hope Children's Home. All that being said, check out Hope Children's Home. Amazing ministry. They take care of kids. They put them in, they have their own private school there, and they put them through private school and no questions asked. And it's not through the government. So it's all just very, very well done. Cool. Awesome.
Don't age out, and they see them off to college besides their trade school.
I know. And they come back, because sometimes it's their only family so like they come back for Thanksgiving because they have nowhere else to go. They help get them into college, and then they don't have a family to go, so it is their family, right? So, but it's not your typical orphanage. And if you guys, matter of fact, Barbara Ann, you'll love this. Probably when we were launching that time that we were going to raise the money for them, I had one of our office meetings there at their gym, because they have that gym that also is where they have their meetings. So we had our office meeting in their gym, and then the agents got to tour everything that was going on and see what they were doing. So kind of get some buy-in to what they were doing. It was a lot of fun. So we should do that again too. So, all right. Okay. You got me remotivated. I love that.
Good.
What's that whole thing, right? You get your mind off yourself, right? I was probably feeling I was a little tired. Right. I was a little drugged down. I was like, oh gosh, I got to do 100K. It's 7 o'clock. And now I'm all energized, ready to, take on the world. So that's perfect. Love that. So, all right, I think we got to cut. Hey, guys, say hi to Carl. Hey, Carl, we can't see you or hear you, but I don't know if your camera's off by any chance, but Carl is new to Future Home.
Welcome.
He's there.
Carl. Hey, Carl.
Hey, man, we're glad you're here. It's the best group ever.
Yeah, I'm glad you made the meeting yesterday.
Yes, thank you. I've been watching the first 3, so to catch up to you guys. So
yeah, so your faces probably look familiar. You guys look familiar to him. He because we record these, so he got to see you. All right. Plus, he just got a small glimpse at how the prescient wisdom that comes out of my mouth, right, Carl?
I'm so opened up.
No comment. No, he's going to no comment. He's going with the politically correct no comment mode. So. Mary Wang, how are you?
Good.
Good to see you. You're in San Francisco today.
This is the best place to be. So you're
making. Are you in San Francisco?
No, I wish I am.
Okay.
Out all the background.
Yeah, right. Exactly. See, we don't know how messy your house is behind you because we just think you're overlooking the bay.
Right. This is like we wish we were there, kind of.
That's right. Perfect. That's good. And Geraldine, we were saying hi to you, but we couldn't hear you back. So good evening.
I know. I was going crazy trying to figure out what I had to do.
All right. Well,
I couldn't figure out how to lower my screen so I could get to my volume. And finally, I
there
saw
you go. Once you can figure that, you can sell 10 houses a month. If you can figure out how to do Zoom, then you can figure out how to sell houses.
I'm telling you.
That's no problem. Cindy Taylor, how are you?
Hang on. Oh, can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Okay, I'm doing good.
Awesome. We can't see you, but that may be by design. Is that by design?
And I'm trying to do it, but wait, can you see me now?
Oh, let's see.
We see
Oh,
you.
yeah, we might be able to. I'm on I didn't expand my. Yeah, now we got you. Hey, Cindy.
Okay.
All right, good to see you. All right, awesome. I said hi to all that whole crew. Let me switch screens here. So I had Carl, Mary, and Francisco. Francisco, do we know you, Francisco? Do we see you before?
Hello, can you hear me?
And we can hear you. Can't see you.
I'm trying to fix that now.
All right. Perfect. And you don't have to be seen if you don't want to. You have that. We're very, low key around here. There are times that, there he is. Hey, how are you?
I'm good.
Very good. All right, let's get down to business. Now, Carl, I know this is your first live one, but you've watched the first 3, right? Everybody else has been to at least 1 or 2 of these before. Is that true? Yes?
Yes. Absolutely.
All right, perfect. Good deal. And looks like we got about 8 or so on here, which is a great size. So let me get these up. Can you guys see my screen okay?
We see you.
Beautiful. All right. See, we are in big time business. So this is actually session 4, if you can believe it. So we're rolling through. We're going to try and, I was looking at probably do 1 more, and that will probably wrap us up. That way we'll finish before Thanksgiving, and then call it a semester, if you will. But we'll still be involved in, and by the way, you guys know, since everybody's everybody's here, Future Home, yes?
Yes.
Anybody not? Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. The Monday, Wednesday, Friday during office hours, I kind of generally, my assigned hours are Mondays and Fridays. Jim usually handles Wednesdays, but sometimes we switch if I've got some meetings coming up. But you're welcome to jump in, and you can ask questions about contracts and everything else there, but you also can ask stuff like this. A lot of times it's just one-on-one, right? Kevin, weren't you on just recently? It was just kind of just you and I, right? And then
Yeah. Yes.
And Barbara, it was funny. It was almost perfect timing. I think people dropped off, and right when people were dropping off, it's like, oh, I got my question answered. And the next one came in. So it's perfect. So take advantage of those hours if you like as well. We can always still maintain and be in touch. All right. So if you guys remember system 1, we got 2 systems about how we're going to do this thing. We're going to plant corn and we're going to plant oranges, right? Our first corn planting, the reason we call it corn planting is because it's fast, right? The sow to reap cycle is like, bam. Right? The story of corn, it's true. You plant corn in late May, early June, and you're eating corn by late July, early August. It's really amazing how fast it grows. You can almost watch it come out of the ground. Okay, it's cool. The bad news about corn is it's an annual, not a perennial. All right, I just got reminded. In Tennessee, we had to pull out our. You guys know impatiens, right?
Yes.
Impatient flowers, right? Love impatiens. Have you? Impatiens are very don't like the sun though, right? So they got this new breed out that we've discovered and we plant for the last couple seasons for the spring called sun patience. Have you seen these?
No.
It's amazing. It's a, I don't know if they genetically modified or whatever they did, if they crossbred them with something else, but they're called sun patience and they grow like crazy, right? And so in Tennessee, we plant them usually, we've learned like late March, early April. And they just grow crazy, but I just yanked those out because we just started getting our first hard freezes, but we replace them with pansies, right? And this stuff I had to learn, right? Right? Because pansies, I thought pansies, I go, wow, they can handle the cold. Why would they call somebody a pansy if but they can't, you're called a pansy because you can't handle the heat. That's the problem. So pansies can't handle the heat, but they love the cold. So we just replaced those. But both of those, sun patience and pansies, are both what we would consider annuals, right? They're not perennials. They don't stick around, and they're not going to be there next season because they're going to die out. So same thing with corn. But the good news is that we can eat pretty quickly. Kevin told us some great stories. Barbara Ann told us some great stories last time about how they were implementing sitting some bank-owned open houses. And Carl, you'll love this. Kevin's not that far ahead of you in the real estate business as far as being in the business. And Kevin's already applying. You may have seen him. He was kind of one of the stars of last session, if you caught that, about how he was able to grab a couple buyers, write some offers. Did you put that place under contract, Kevin?
No, they never did.
Was it just couldn't get the offer? Was it got outbid, or what was the story?
I think it went pending. I think somebody else got the property
before you could get it in there. Okay,
yeah,
perfect.
I do
Still
have
working with any buyers?
What's that?
Still working with any of those buyers?
I happened to a bank-owned property, and the lady, I did an open house Sunday on a bank-owned property. She saw my signage at the end of the day, and she didn't come to the house. She
Right.
called me and she came to another bank own I did on Monday. She looked at it, didn't care for
How'd
it.
she call you?
On the phone. I have some signage with my name
That's
on
great. I didn't think it was like a tin can with a string between it.
Yeah.
That's not what I meant. How did she get your number? Let me
Yeah.
reclassify it. Do you did you have your number on your sign?
Yes, I got some branded open house
Great
signs.
idea, by the way. Good idea. By twofold reason for that. That what we just described. She was running late, just wrote his number down, said, "Hey, I want some information on," and also stops other people from stealing your sign, right? Because why would they steal your sign and put your sign out there? So not a bad idea to put your name and stuff out there. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, they can also call and tell me to get the sign off their property as well.
Well, that's true, but that's a great. Hey, you know what? Are you being bothered by people doing this all the time? How about if we help you move? Are you interested in selling your place? See,
Yeah, right.
love that. See, let's just, everything's an opportunity. So
But,
she called you, and now she came to your next open house.
Yeah, she went to another open house I did on Monday, and I met her, talked to her, we looked at it. But the original house she wanted to look at, we went to it, and I had a showing yesterday. Supposed to be at 9 o'clock in the morning when we're having our meeting for FHR at 9:30. So I went to the house, and she ended up saying it's voting day. Can we schedule it later? So I met her in the afternoon. I was able to go to FHR meeting in the morning.
See, look at that. And you learned all about Safety Harbor you didn't know about.
Yeah,
See?
definitely. So I met her back at 4 o'clock. She likes the home. She wasn't pre-qualified. So we ended up hooking her up with a lender, and we're waiting to see what her qualifications are.
Beautiful.
So
Awesome.
it's working
Activity,
good.
activity, right? Just keep rolling it, right? I'm just telling you, it will continue to do as the more, and how much more comfortable are you now that you've done, how many open houses now?
I'm probably at least 10 or 12
Yeah, right. So now you're like, you're
in
like,
the past month.
yeah, let me share my screen. Hang on, let me see. And Kevin's going to teach the class. So hang on, let me share. Hey, Kevin host, right? Goes from being the newbie, right, 3 sessions ago to now you're the resident expert. And it's true, right?
Yeah.
You guys know Chris Light, right? You guys seen Chris Light always posting and stuff. Chris Light probably 5 years ago came to 100K, totally brand new. You know, Chris's story, he came out of the Publix management, right? Had been there for years. He kind of got tired of, I remember vividly 5 years ago, he came up to me after 100K, the first time I had met him. He was joined Future Home. And he goes, Bob, all I want is I want to make this my full-time gig, get out of Publix, because I want to not have to work till 2 a.m. on the day before Thanksgiving. And I want to spend Christmas Eve and Christmas with my family, right? I said, dude, are you ready to dig in? I said, if you're willing to go, well, I can show you. And he did. And Katie barred the door. And now he's just like, on the board of directors for Pro. He's on the MLS chairman. He's on the MLS committee. He's just doing awesome. He's a great guy. So, but it doesn't take long, right? Just you can start now because you can become the expert in a hurry by doing it. So just continue on. All right. We're not going to spend too much time on this because remember, we don't overcomplicate because this is simple.
I got this.
Yeah, you do. Okay. Yes, you do. Right. We're not going to overcomplicate. We're going to do, now again, we call them bank-owned open houses or traffic generating events. They don't have to be bank-owned. By the way, I saw someone post just on Just Us Agents FHR about an hour ago that they're looking for someone for someone to sit her open house in Seminole Heights this weekend. Seminole Heights is a hot area. So anybody want to check that out and jump on? I don't know if somebody's already got it or not, but if you're looking for an open house to do, that'd be a good one. Seminole Heights.
Hey, Bob, I got a comment.
Yeah.
Whenever I do an open house, I print, about 15 flyers that I personally make or from RPR. Well, I couldn't get an open house going in the next 2 days. So I reached out to somebody I did an open house with probably 2 months ago. I just texted her, hey, I see the property still available. Can I do an open house? She said, yes. What time do you want to do it? I'm going back to this property that I have some flyers for. I got information. I kind of know the house a little bit and hopefully going to generate some traffic and get the house sold.
That's all you got to do, guys. I'm telling you, and you notice Kevin, he's doing it during the week, on weekends. It doesn't matter, right? Remember when agents call me and say, hey, Bob, do you think I should do an open house? Yes. But do you think yes, right? Because the answer is compared to what?
No.
Right? Yeah, right. Or compared to, hey, what else do you got going on? If it's not showing property or attending a closing, right? The answer is yes. Okay, right? The answer is yeah. Go do it. Why not? I mean, especially with today's day and age, right? Get yourself an air card, get yourself a laptop, and go do business and read a book. Or speaking of which, we're going to have a new book to read this month, and you guys may have read it if you've been around me a little bit. If not, you may have heard me talk about it in some of the what we call the scrolls. But if not, it's a great book. It's called The Greatest Salesman in the World, and it's nothing like you've ever. Don't let the title fool you, right? Because it's not salesy at all. It is a great book. Bank-owned open houses, and again, the whole key is getting traffic there. And then as you do more and more of them, right, you become more and more comfortable with it, right, Kev? All right,
Yes.
All that anxiety that used to be surrounding it, it's gone, right? I got it. I told you the first bank-owned open house I sat, I was like reading the manual on how to do a HUD foreclosure as they were asking me questions.
Yeah.
Like, hey, yeah, it's like, hey, what are you gonna do? Just hey, here it is. Like, let's come on over here. Let's read it together, right? It's just we'll figure this out, right? And that's what they want. They don't care, right? People don't, because remember, you're not going to see them unless you generate a meeting from a meeting. Did we talk about the fact that anybody here? Well, I know this concept, right? Help me out. What's the place where you go and you have a house meeting and people come and they're going to buy a lot of kitchen stuff? What's it called?
Housewarming or
what's that?
Tupperware.
I like Tupperware, but what's the newer one?
It's a house party.
Pampered Chef.
Pampered Chef. Thank you. Right. Pampered Chef, Tupperware. Pampered Chef. You kidding me? They have the greatest. Their microwavable bowl is like the bomb, right? Pampered Chef have the best, and they also have the best ice cream scoop. They do, not that I would know. My kids like ice cream.
Oh, busted.
That's right. No, I have to, because I have hot hands, and careful now, right? But I'm warm bodied, right? And it creates a heat sink, and the way it's designed, it actually heats up the scoop from the heat in my hand, and so that when ice cream's really hard, I'm the designated scooper in our household. So
Guess you've had some practice. Sounds like you
what's
know
that?
what you're talking about.
I do. Are you kidding? There's an art. There is an art to making the right size scoop. You can't just make any kind. I'm like the designated Sunday maker in the house. So we can get that done. How do we get off? Oh, so here's the thing. But when they have those, right, and let's go way back. All right, I remember my sister did Princess House. Crystal, anybody remember that? Princess House, Crystal?
Yeah.
Way back in the day, right? But the whole idea was what? Is to book a meeting from a meeting.
Right.
Right? That they would go and do a house, right? Let's go do a house party at Barbara Ann's house, right? And then as I meet Barbara Ann's family or friends, and I sell them their, Tupperware or whatever we're selling at that time, say, hey, look, Barbara Ann, because you guys bought so much, is going to get 4 pieces of, salt and pepper shakers. And what else she gets free stuff. How would you like to have some of the free stuff? Let's go have a party at your house, right? As a matter of fact, trying like Barbara Ann, I saw you, the goal would be really to book 3 meetings, right?
That's what they normally say is 3.
Right, exactly. And then now you have 3, and then you go to 3, and then, and I told 2 friends, and they told 2 friends, and they told 2 friends, and look out, right? So that's the whole idea, is that we don't want to not book a meeting from a meeting, right? So if we're going to have an open house, let's book those next time to go show property. All right. So we got that. We're going to get really good because Kevin, you're going to get better and better and better. And anybody who implements this, as you do more and more and more of these, it's going to become natural. The whole conversion part is just going to flow pretty soon. And plus you're going to realize that, hey, look, it doesn't matter because I can have an open house tomorrow, right? If these people don't like me and I don't book a meeting or I can't get it done, it doesn't matter because I can do one tomorrow. Right? It really is. It takes the pressure off completely. Right? All right. It's not that easy. Like when I was trying to get a date, it was a lot more pressure because I couldn't just have another one tomorrow. Right? All right. But But so this was a lot easier because I could just go, man, I'll just have another one tomorrow, right? And meet another 12 or 14 or 15 people that come through and make it happen. Become an expert in investor buying. By the way, if you haven't watched, if you want to learn more about how to represent investors, we talked about briefly about this last time. Then make sure you do the Speak the Language of an Investor class on FHR University. It's a great class. It's talking about buy and hold investors, not buy and flip, right? Remember, because the buy and flip class is easy. Ready? Buy low, sell high into class, right? that class is pretty quick, right? It doesn't take a whole lot there. Hey, Brandon's joined us. Hey, Brandon, which Brandon is this? Brandon. See, I'm that teacher. I'm that teacher you don't want. Hey, Brandon.
Hey, I'm sorry. I got you on the charger so my phone can do what it does here, and I'm working with my kids. My name is Brandon Gray. Anyway, I just actually joined FHR maybe like a month ago.
Awesome.
I'm pretty new.
Oh, cool. You said, what was your last name, Brandon?
Gray, Grey.
All right, awesome. Good. Did you come? Are you brand new in the business, or did you come to us from another company?
No, I'm brand new. I passed my real estate exam in September.
Nice.
Yeah, and
how'd you find us?
A friend is an agent, Matthew Wong.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
awesome.
he's
cool.
He told me about you, and then I sat down and spoke with Jim. That's my baby in the background.
Oh, good. How old's the baby?
She's 1.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Keep your camera off because we don't want to see her because then it'll totally distract the rest of the class.
That's right.
Babies and puppies kill my mojo, right? No one wants to listen to me after they see a baby or a puppy. It kills it. Well, welcome, Brandon. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
Awesome. Good deal. And you can catch up on the extra ones if you haven't learned that on FHR University. You can go back and catch up some of the others that we've done already. Because we might be using terminology that you don't know or whatever. So, and if you need to leave to go take care of that baby and change a diaper, then that's totally good with us.
I got it. That's why I got it muted. I'm over here trying to take care of it, but I'm listening.
Good deal. All right. Perfect. I love the multitasking. That's beautiful. Did we talk about Joseph when he was young and he went to go show property with me, right? Because I had, and he was like 5 and 6 months old. He was little butterball dude, right? He just, chubby cheeks, looked like the Gerber baby. Just almost like I called him my little cherub. He was like angelic, right? I'd go literally on Mondays and Fridays. I had him, so we'd go show. I was like, hey, we're gonna go show property. So he'd go show property. He showed a lot of property when he was really, really young. We were knocking it out, and I used him as a sales tool, man. I'd say, hey, look at these chubby. They said, oh, these chubby cheeks. I said, yeah, you know what? He eats a lot, so you got to buy. That formula isn't cheap. This kid, I said, you're going to go home and know that because you didn't choose to buy today, this kid right here might go hungry. Come on. Got to do what you got to do, man. You got to get people off the fence in one way or another. All right. Work first-time home buyers with vigor. Hook yourself up with a great team member. When I say team member, a lender who knows how to work first-time home buyers, right? Because if you meet these people, that can be, and by the way, if you don't abuse your first-time home buyer mortgage person, right, guy or gal, right? Because they're not easy, right? And those, so don't just, oh, here's my $400,000 mortgage loan officer, and here's my 580 credit score FHA, loan officer over here. All right. If at all possible, reward the 580, work their tail off for a lot less money person. If you can, I'm not saying you always can. All right. With that plum deal every once in a while too. All right. Trust me, I've never been a loan officer, but think about the way you'd want to be treated, right? And do it that way. So that being said, hook up with somebody that can do that. And then remember, the whole idea is that we're going to do this backwards. That was the whole thing. Instead of going to try and get listings so that we can then find buyers, we're going to work with buyers who are going to lead us to our listings, right? We do it totally backwards because it's a great theory, right? To have listings so that you get buyers. The problem is getting the listing. Right? Especially when you're brand new, right? Right. Brandon, Carl, you're like, hey, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. I'm all ears. Anybody, Anybody got a listing they want to give me? Right. And everybody's like, nah, not today. Right. So instead, we teach, go work with buyers. I mean, your buyers are going to lead you to your listings, maybe not them directly, but people they know. Right. Because remember, this is very unique corn, because if you treat this corn well, instead of it being an annual and it disappearing, it actually morphs. It could morph into an orange tree. Right. Because that could be a source of our other business that would, you know, introduce us. Remember, we don't refer, we don't ask for referrals. We get introduced because we have earned the right to be introduced, right? We gave massive value first, which leads me right into our Orange Grove stuff. Remember, that's the whole idea. Hey, Sandra.
Hi, good
hey,
evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Sorry, a little late.
That's all right. No problem. Better late than never.
That's what I say.
See, better say that in Spanish. How do you guys have that saying in Spanish? Better late than never?
Mejor tarde que nunca.
I totally agree. All right. I got nunca and I heard tarde, so that's enough. I can get that. All right, that's good. I got the main things out of there. Yeah. So then we're going to dig in our orange groves. Remember, the idea would be, in a perfect world, then instead of having to plant annuals every year, right, that we're going to have perennials. Right? We're going to have these orange trees that grow up and produce this fruit. And eventually, when we have a mature orchard, look out, right? Then that is the best thing ever. So this is simple.
I got
this.
Thank you very much. All right. Okay. Here's my question for you. This is time where a little rubber meets the road. We've kind of covered corn and orange groves for going on. This is our 4th session now, right? So we should have that concept down. Right now, it's what I found is the whole idea of reaching out to your sphere and having a design pattern of how I'm going to attack my orange grove is there, but it can be, you know what, for me, or what I've seen from agents, that it's easier to teach and have agents go implement the corn planting than it does the orange grove planting. And I think it's twofold, right? Because I've done this a lot. Twofold. Number one is orange groves take a little more long-term thinking, right? Because that's the whole idea. It's not instant food, right? It's a little long-term. You're going to start establish this. That's why, I don't know if we covered this yet. Let's picture, okay, so let's picture 40 acres, right? So you got your 40-acre plot, right? And that's going to be our hours. We're going to spend 40 hours a week in this business, all right? Now, each of us come to this at different spots, right? Some of us are a little further along, right? But others are brand new. Others are saying, hey, you know what? I don't have time to mess much with orange groves because I need to eat some corn like yesterday, right? Okay. And I get that. That's where I was in the business. I told you I only had 10 weeks when I jumped in just to see if I could not go back to teaching, right? So I didn't know this at the time, but I was going to probably plant 38 acres of corn, right? But if I was guiding myself back then, I would not allow me to do 40 acres of corn, right? I would do 38, 35 acres of corn. I'm still going to insist that you plant at least 2 to 5 acres / hours working on your orange grove. All right. Because it doesn't have to be all of it right now, but it can just start to get those saplings in the ground, start hoeing that field, whatever, we can get it so he gets to the position where he can do that, because I don't want you to make the same mistake I did. No one taught me. I tried to figure it, and I finally figured it out, but I never planted many orange groves. Okay. Except for building Future Home Realty has become my orange grove, right? But outside of that, in a way to do it inside the real estate sales business, right? If I were going to mentor me, I'd say, hey, Bob, I'm going to make you at least do some oranges, not just all. And I think I talked about this, that part of it was twofold, right? I needed the money, so I wanted to plant as much corn as possible. And second of all, I got arrogant. Imagine that. Me? Come on. I know it's hard for you to imagine me being a little bit on the edge there of arrogant, cocky, confident. We'll call it confident. But I just, got to the point where I said, hey, you know what? I'll create 100 transactions a year out of thin air. right? And I truly believe it. And I believe I do it like, you know what I mean? Because I was doing it, right? And I totally was. I said, quite frankly, I was like, what an idiot, right? I was letting all those satisfied clients kind of go untouched. I mean, I'd send out Christmas cards or something like that. That was like the whole, you know, marketing campaign I had to my past clients was like sending out Christmas cards, right? And, you know, every time I did that, by the way, I got reminded I should do it more often, right? Two things happened. I got business out of it because people, hey, Bob, thanks for the Christmas card. By the way, my friend's looking to buy. I'm like, hey, that's great. I didn't have to sit in an open house for that one. You think, you know, think, hello, McFly, right? Do this more often, right? But I never got that message that much. And the second thing that was very eye-opening to me, right, was I would get some of my Christmas cards returned that said no longer at this address.
Yeah. Ouch.
Ouch. Right?
Yep.
And I'm in real estate.
Yep.
And I was like, how are you no longer at this address without me helping you be no longer at this address? Right? Where did I, you know, and was it their fault or my fault?
Yours.
Right. Absolutely. Right. If it, you know, and so I got reminded. So every time I do something like that, so I'm going to encourage you, use the book, right? The 7 Levels of Communication. It's a very non-offensive, low-key methods to planting your oranges, giving massive value, go donate time like at a nonprofit, you know, and you end up getting business out of it. That's not why we do it, but it ends up, happening, you know, that kind of thing. So just learn to attack it, you know, in that way, but make a conscious effort of our 40 acres, if we're going to work 40 hours a week, to put some, let's just say 5, into oranges, right? Now, the cool thing would be eventually you would love to say, hey, I got a time now, things are going well. These 5 acres of oranges are starting to produce. So now I have time to plant another 5 acres while they're planting because I'm getting some, you know, oranges, but I've still got 30 acres working 30 acres of corn. And then you shift over and pretty soon you're only doing 20 and 20. And then eventually ideally the goal would be to have 40 acres of oranges, right? And you're sitting on the porch in a rocking chair, watching somebody else pick the fruit, take it to market and bring you back 50% of the profit, right? Or wherever you want. I mean, I always envision me sitting in a villa in Tuscany, all right? And my job for the day is just to check to make sure the money made it to the account, right?
I like that idea.
Absolutely, why not, right? Go and just, you know, and go hide our money in Geneva and I have Swiss bank accounts. Why not, right? That's awesome. Love that. Okay, so.
Clusters of grapes in Tuscany.
See, I can imagine that it would be
a multiplication.
Yeah, right. Exactly. See, that's perfect. That'd be a good illustration of that. You're right. That's perfect. All right. So if I were going to ask you right now, right, what I just described, what's your biggest roadblock? Anybody? I mean, what would be stopping you from either planting corn or planting oranges or even just implementing? You know, we did the Monday motivation this week was on don't just stare up the steps, but step up the stairs. You guys see that video I did on Monday? All right. There's a difference in staring up the steps and actually stepping up the stairs, right? You got to actually implement. Somebody else took that idea and and put another quote to it. It was awesome. It says, vision without, was it? No. Gotta find it. What is it? It was a great one. Vision without, I'll think of it. All right, something basically was saying you got to put action to it, right? Just having a dream without putting action to it is just a dream. You're never going to accomplish anything, right? That's the whole idea. So that being said, somebody give me what's a roadblock for you? Any of our new agents, and I won't put you too much on the spot. Anybody? What would what's your fear of this business? Anybody willing to share?
Hey, Bob, I got one.
Yeah, give it to me, Francisco.
All right. I've been trying to set up an open house, but I have problems because the most agents that I reach out to, they say that their company doesn't allow open houses for other agents.
Okay. Are you trying to do bank-owned open houses in particular?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. What part of town do you live?
Here in Clearwater, but I'm trying to find something in Pinellas County.
Okay. Barbara Ann, does your person have any openings? You said you had someone that had some extras. Does anybody have any? Does she or he have any bank-owned opportunities in particular?
He hasn't, there's 5 in the making, but they haven't finalized them for him.
Okay.
And the new girl that you referred to me,
Yep.
in her area, he's got one, so I'll set her up there.
Perfect. So Francisco, did you see that email that mock email? Are you part of the 100K Facebook page?
I am. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Did you see that email I put out, that sample email that you can send out?
Yeah, I have that.
Okay, perfect, good. I would just do that as much as possible right now. Okay. And if not, are you also part of the Just Us Agents FHR Facebook page?
No, I don't think so. No.
Yeah, there's one called Just Us Agents.
Just Us Agents, okay.
Yeah, FHR, and it's probably about 350 or 400 of our Future Home Realty agents, and just do a regular open house. Kevin, how are you finding yours?
Okay.
Francisco, wherever you live, start nearest your house and go out. You can look at bank owned. If you can't find nothing bank owned, go to any single family home. Start with the cheapest, and then just work out that way.
All right.
And make a list. Make a list of the ones you call so you don't repeat them.
Good idea.
And I go through a few agents before I get the one, but I keep going. And that's actually what I do when I'm at my open houses. I start setting up my next open house.
Love that.
I start building a rapport.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been using my iPhone to, every time I call a new agent, I take a few notes in my iPhone and who they are. So I maybe build a rapport down the line, maybe make a connection later on, but keep track of the ones you are doing, and you're going to have to go through a bunch of them, and then all of a sudden it starts clicking. You'll start getting them.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
And if you want to post on that Just Us Agents, there are listing agents who post there all the time. Hey, if anybody wants to do one, here's one, right? Okay. And I wouldn't be picky at first. So just go do one, because what happens is it will lead you to the next one. Or like Kevin said, if you're going to do it, if you're going to spend some time researching and making the calls to set up an open house, why not do it at an open house? Right?
Okay.
But, really be there, be open for business, because you never know if I'm going to work someplace, I could be hiding away in my kitchen, all right, and there's no chance of me meeting somebody. Or if I'm going to do the same work and have the ability, why not do it in an open house where I might run into somebody, right?
Right.
And to do it. So good, great question. I love that. Anybody else got somebody?
Yeah, we got those ones in Seminole Heights. They need an open house with.
Yeah, check that out on Just Us Agents. Seminole Heights is a great area, by the way. It's a really up and coming area. Anybody else got anything that's holding them back? Anything?
Well, to Francisco, also, when he gets into the Just Us agent, he can actually post, I'm available for open house. Who needs my help? More than one agent will help you.
Yep. You'll get overwhelmed. I guarantee it. You will not lack for that. People will say, hey, I got a vacant one here. I got a vacant one here. And again, don't be too picky. You're just looking for traffic, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's all we're looking for is opportunities to get eyeball to eyeball with somebody.
And I found that if I tell another agent that I'm also Future Home Realty, we tend to kind of be nicer to each other versus another brokerage.
Well, I should hope so. Yeah, absolutely.
Contact another Future Home agents, and more chance.
And if they're not nice to you, you let me know. All right. I'm like all right, I'll put them in a headlock in a hurry, put noogie their heads right there. I'll take care of it. All right. So yeah, and I have no fear. Everybody's very, very nice. So you should be good to go. Perfect. All right. Go ahead. Somebody have a question or a comment?
Geraldine. Yeah.
Hey, Joe.
So my biggest roadblock is probably my frustration of the open houses where I am. And the Villages is a very, very unique community.
You're in the Villages?
I'm in the Villages.
Okay, perfect. I didn't know that.
There.
So we're dealing with the village people, the people who own the Villages.
The village people?
The village people. We'll start saying. So they have a lot of the market locked up anyway. But anyway, when I first moved here, which is 5 years now, I was told you have to do open houses, and I did open houses. I mean, I can't tell you how many open houses I did because I was doing 3 a week. I was always there. I never got one shred of business because here they come in and they say, I just want decorating tips.
Yeah.
I want to see what this
That'd
model
be,
looks
yeah,
like.
that'd be rough. And I gotta admit, now, if you're looking to do it in the villages, I'd probably adjust, right? And figure out something else. You know, that's where you're going to have to network other ways, right? And so, you know, whether it's playing pinochle or shuffleboard or pickleball or whatever, you know, go check the calendar. You got, you know, like what other events you guys got going on there at the villages. Yesterday was make sure you go vote, right? And then after that, go play pickleball. And then it's, so yeah, so maybe just find other ways to do that. I can see where that might be tough. I didn't know you were up that way.
Yeah, I'm up
Kevin?
here. I've been here 5 years.
All right, cool. Kevin?
Hey, I was gonna say this before, but since she's in the villages, what if she was to have a Pampered Chef open house gathering?
Hey.
Why not? I mean, you know, absolutely, you know.
Drawing people there with the, you know, just a side, you know, business going on as well.
Right. Well, here's the thing. The hard part, and that's why I like open houses so much, is because there isn't that awkward, how do we transition from this is really a cool microwavable bowl to how would you like a home to surround this microwavable bowl, right?
Yeah.
You know, how would you like, I can help you find a microwave. Matter of fact, I can help you find the cupboards that the microwave goes on. And matter of fact, I can help you find the floor that the cupboards sit on. Matter of fact, I can help, you know, so you can build around. But I don't know. But yeah, so, but why not, right? Why not try something to try and network? But I'm with you 100%. And if I really, really, Geraldine, if you wanted to really, really build business, you might have to go outside the villages, right? And say, hey, look, it's time to venture out of my cocoon. All right. Literally, wasn't there a movie called Cocoon about the elder?
I know that movie.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sandra. Oh, we can't hear you.
She's on mute.
Yeah, well, she's unmuting herself.
There we go. I am in Safety Harbor, and there are big top producers in my area. I didn't start doing open houses here. I went out somewhere else.
Gotcha. Get
That's what I
outside.
did.
Yeah.
I even had listing in Wesley Chapel, Sanford Hill, you name it.
I used to say myself that my license says Florida. Right. Right. I go anywhere. Right. Yeah. You know, I have no problem. If the money was right, I could, you know, I can go stay in a hotel and for a couple nights and go figure out that market. Just give me MLS access and I'm good to go. So,
Exactly.
But yeah, so just gotta get creative, and I can understand why, you know, it may not work with their Geraldine. So I maybe just, you know, kind of work around, because I know there is a little bit of a monopoly going on there in the villages with the people that have been there a while. Here's a great one. We may have talked about this before. If you were consulting yourself, what advice would you give? All right. That's a great question, man. And we may not have time to go over that much, but maybe ponder that for the next couple of weeks, right? If I were going to be, let's say you are an outside consultant, right? Because here's what I'm getting at. Most of us know what to do, right? The problem is, here's a hashtag for you. Hashtag, what to do is not the problem, to do is the problem. Right? Okay, right? And that's in many things. I mean, I could rattle off with you 14 different exercises I should do tomorrow morning when I wake up that's going to help my body improve. All right. So knowing what to do is not the issue. It's whether or not I'm going to get up and actually do the 14 exercises. All right. That's going to improve my body or not. That is where the rubber meets the road. Right. So picture yourself, hey, step outside and let me be an outside consultant, but consult yourself. Right. Because a lot of times we're really good at telling other people what to do, but not so good when it comes back to us. Right.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah.
I found out doing the open houses, it gives me an opportunity and a learning experience to speak to somebody who's a complete stranger.
Mm-hmm.
I now have to, as soon as I open up that door, I'm standing up straight. I got my intro. I'm not even thinking about anything about the frack. I'm not thinking about the statute. I'm not thinking about nothing, but what can I do for that person? What do they need?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to rehearse anything. You're exactly right. You already know what to do. You just got to get in front of a person who's coming to your open house.
That's it. And you go with the total attitude of how can I help them today?
They might need a rental. I
Yeah.
have a rental referral today.
Why not?
Where I went to search for him. So that was a positive.
And a rental referral it's a crock pot buyer. Right? You stay in
I'm going
touch
to
with
talk
them.
to him about Home Partners of America.
Absolutely. Why wouldn't you? All right. And whether it's now or 6 months from now or a year from now when his first lease is up, I'm telling you, a year is going to go by like that. All right. And so next thing you know, you're reaching out, you put a little tickler in your file, and 8 months in to their lease, hey, let's check, let's see if you can get yourself, now that you're settled in, now you familiarize yourself with the neighborhoods, where would you like, if you could buy, where would you like to buy? Right. That's now that you know the area better. Go ahead, somebody.
I just sold a $300,000 house on a rental from last year.
There you go.
Wow, there you go.
Telling you.
Awesome.
Right. Yeah, I'm just telling you, because it's all an interaction, right? It's a connection. The more connections we make, all right, the more connections we have. There's that prescient, salient, genius wisdom I present. The more connections you make, the more connections you have. How about that one? Isn't that genius?
Closing in March, that was from 2 years ago. I put him in a rental and worked with them as first-time home buyers to get the credit and everything worked out. So.
See, I'm telling you, guys are way better than me. I was too busy creating my next corn plant to worry about the person I dealt with 2 years ago. I was an idiot, right? Just don't be Bob, right? Be smarter than I was, right? And maintain those relationships. Why wouldn't you, right? And remember, we're just going to call them up. We're not going to say, hey, this is Kevin, just checking in to see if you're ready to buy yet. No, it's like, hey, this is Kevin, man, just checking in. You got time to grab a quick cup of coffee? You know what, I was thinking about you, and I remember how much you love fishing, and I drove by and I was looking at the bay today, and I thought, boy, I wonder how Kevin's doing, right? I mean, that's the kind of conversations you have, right? Not this salesy, hey, I'm going to, deliver my 4-point sales pitch to you, whether you like it or not, because, it falls on deaf ears. All right.
I've been in diapers for 2 years.
See, there you go. Absolutely. It all sells, right? Do you have a strategic plan to dig deeper with your network? Because that's what orange groves are all about, right? You understand that. It's all about working your sphere and your network of people, but you have to have a strategic plan to do it. Without it, it will not happen happenstance, right? It doesn't need to feel like it's a structured when you approach them, but you need to have a structured plan. Who was it? Somebody, I think last session was telling us that, what was it? Oh, I think they just took, they were gonna reach out to their sphere in person, like a phone call once a year and a note once a year. And they broke it, like there were 4 activities. I can't remember what exactly, one's a phone call, maybe one's like, send them a birthday card, another one, you know what I mean? So 4 times they were going to touch their sphere of influence, right? And all they did is they took it and they said, quarterly, what was it? Yeah, quarterly. So they're quarterly, it's like 13 weeks in a quarter, right? Because there's 52 weeks in a year, so 13 weeks in a quarter. So 26 letters of the alphabet. They just took A's and B's week 1, right? You remember that? A's and B's week 1, C's and D's week 2, E's and F's week 3, and then they worked their way through. Yeah. So now and then so they had 2 letters of the alphabet, whether you do it by first name or last name. And remember, you say, oh my gosh, I've got 438,612 people in my database, right? It's like wrong, right? The most people we should have in our true database that we're talking about is 150, right? That's the absolute most. And you don't have to start there, right? The absolute most you should have that you're going to do this kind of dig deeper with, right? Remember, because our whole goal is we're going to dig deeper with a few rather than shallow with many, right? We're going to get deeper with a few rather than shallow with many, because 150, remember this math, 150 equals 22,500.
Yeah, I love
you remember that, right? Because 150 squared is 22,500. Because the reality is, if you've got 150 that you're digging deep with, each one of those 150, no 150, right? And 150 squared is 22,500. That's all you will never want for business again if you take care of 150 people.
That's
right?
Great. That's my plan.
Yeah, that's right. And it's just that simple, right? It really is. All right. And when I say this is simple, you say,
I got this.
I got this.
yeah, good job. All right, perfect. All right. So create a strategic plan to dig deeper. And what does that look like, right? We just kind of covered how that might look. I'm just throwing out ideas, right? Remember, my job is to bring a buffet and your job is to eat. All right. You're passing on, right? You guys, hey, I'm going to pass on Brussels sprouts. I don't like Brussels sprouts. Great. Try some asparagus, right? But I'm going to just put it all out there, right? You guys choose what works for you. Because remember, that's the whole goal. Because when you choose what works for you, you'll actually do it.
Yeah.
Right. For me to sit there and say, you will eat Brussels sprouts, right? When you hate Brussels sprouts, it's not going to work, right? It's not going to happen. I know that. Trust me, right? I wouldn't do it either. But you give me something in front of me that I like, all right, with one of those Pampered Chef ice cream scoops. Now we're talking, right? Now I can, so I can scoop for my boys. Don't forget, all right, scoop for my boys. Or if I do scoop, then those 14 exercises I talked about have to quickly vamp into 18 tomorrow. Got some extra work to do. All right, so what does that look like? All right, more orange groves. You got to have a game plan for accountability. You know what? I'm going to go through this fast because I'm already at my hour. All right, I took too much time telling that Hope Children's Home story. All right, so game plan for accountability. What helps me get to the point where I'm actually going to not just talk about or know what to do, but to actually do means I've got to have an accountability person with me, right? But you got to have a game plan. So here's just write these notes down. If not, I'll remember to post this on the 100K Facebook page if you want, and that way you can have this screenshot if you want. Identify clear, measurable performance goals. You can't just have, when you're with your accountability partner, it cannot be vague. Hey, I think I want to be a better realtor. What does that mean, right? How do I measure that, right? It's got to be clear, measurable. Maybe go and investigate, look this up. It's not on this slide. SMART goals, specific, measurable, something actionable maybe, realistic, and has a time frame attached to them. Research SMART goals. That's a good acronym to have your goals because they've got to be, there's got to be a time frame on it. You've got to be, how am I going to know when I've achieved it? That's measurable, right? Those are very, very specific things. Agree upon successful measurement techniques. That's what we just talked about, right? How do I measure that if I'm going to be with my accountability partner? And you need to be a good accountability partner and choose a good one, right? You want someone who's going to push you and who's going to actually ask you these questions. Provide feedback. After we've done that, we come back and say, okay, how do we do? We're going to provide feedback, coach to adjust so we can get better performance results next time, right? By the way, you guys are benefiting. I had to pay a lot of money to go to my MBA classes to get this, and you guys are getting it for free. All right. We're going to use the feedback to create a new plan of action for the next time period, right? This is nowhere different than the upward spiral of life that he talks about in the book, right? Just another way of writing it, right? Upward spiral. We learn, we implement, we fail, we evaluate the failure, and we grow from it, and we learn again, we implement, we fail, we evaluate, we learn. It's just upward spiral life. We're going to continue to grow as we go up. All right. And remember, these were our assignments last time. I'm going to get us out of here. All right. These should sound familiar. The morning ritual, the pre-sleep ritual, the pre-leave ritual, the time blocking, physical fitness, and eating right. Leaving that ice cream scoop alone. 10 power notes, traffic generating event. That means go do an open house. Kevin's way ahead of us on this. Get an accountability partner. Sunday night ritual. I love that. Or Friday day ritual, right, Jean?
Thank you.
Perfect. All right. Start by making, doesn't have to be Saturday or doesn't have to be Sunday night. Start by making small promises to yourself and keeping them. Can I hit on that real quick again, just as a reminder? Do you understand how powerful it is that when your mind says, you know what, I'm a winner. And I'm a winner because I set a goal and I did it. And start small, get a small victory. Because without that ball starting to roll, but once those victories start to come, guys, it snowballs like nothing else. And it collects the snow as it goes down. And instead of collecting snow, we're collecting victories. So the small victory, like a little tiny pebble, It started to roll. Next thing you know, I start to roll, and now I got victory after victory, and victory after victory, victory after victory. And next thing you know, I got this massive avalanche of victories coming down the hill, right? That's just the way it works. So just start small and let that roll and grow from there. Cool? All right, here are our assignments. The greatest salesman in the world. Hang on, let me go grab it.
It's a great book.
Great book.
I love that book. I've had it for 30 years.
Oh, have you really?
I have. I keep buying it over and over, giving it away. I love that book.
It's a great one to give away. Have you read any of other Og Mandino stuff?
Yes.
Oh yeah, you're gonna. By the way, you're gonna get hooked on Og Mandino. It's called The Greatest Salesman in the World by O.G. Mandino, M-A-N-D-I-N-O. Look at this. See how thin?
Yeah.
It's a 2-afternoon book, right? Matter of fact, you could read this book in 2 open houses.
Yeah.
There you
Right?
go.
Yeah, well, it depends on how many people come through. Hopefully it takes 4 open houses because it's so busy. You're so busy at your open houses, you don't have time to read. All right. But literally, you're going to get hooked on this. Take a minute to get into it. It's a story of this stable boy, right? And how he becomes one of the wealthiest trader in all of Babylon. All right. It's amazing. The genius of Og Mandino and how he rolls you in. And then you'll see when we start talking about the scrolls, you're going to understand what I'm talking about with scrolls. I love the scrolls. All right. So get in there and take a look at it. So read that, make the 4 rituals. All right. The morning ritual, the pre-leave ritual, the pre-sleep ritual, and the Sunday night / Friday day ritual. All right. A way of life. Physical fitness and eating right. Remember how important that is. You guys that are new to this here, remember, because our goal, overarching goal here, is that we want to stop chasing and start attracting business, right?
Yes.
And if I'm going to attract business, I want to be attractive, right?
Yes.
What does that mean? Am I talking physically attractive? Well, yeah. I mean, again, we're all friends here, right? Okay, guys, it's helpful when you don't have hair growing out your ears. All right. I'm just going to can I be brutally honest with you? All right. It's, there's, right. I'm just telling you, it's not, people will judge you. But Kevin talked about it, right? They walk in. What do you do, Kevin? You said you stood up tall, right? Right.
Yes.
They don't want somebody that's schlumping, like in a defeatist, who wants to do business with that? Right. All right. Chin up, chest out. Follow the rules you're supposed to make when you take a selfie, right? Chin up, chest out. All right.
So funny.
Those are the rules, all right. And so because of that, but here's more important than the physical aspect of taking care of our bodies, is that when I mentally set a goal that I'm going to get up on time and work out before I walk out the door, or I'm going to do it tonight before I go to bed, or whenever you do that, now you're walking around the world saying, damn straight, you should do business with me. I'm disciplined. I did what I said I was going to do, right? You start beating your chest a little bit, right? You're like, come on, bring it, right? You're so lucky I'm your broker.
Right.
I don't know if you saw any of the speeches in the closing statement, closing part when Trump was, you're so lucky I'm your president, but he may not be for long. Oh, funny.
Oh my gosh,
right.
I get such a kick out of you, Bob McDougall.
So meet with your accountability partner, have a one-on-one meeting. What does that mean? In the book, right, in the Michael Mayer book, we talk about having a one-on-one. Remember, the goal in the one-on-one is not to get business. Just, hey, look, let's go grab some coffee. Just have a practice of that, right? Have someone, let's go grab lunch. Let's grab a coffee. Hey, do you want to, let's have a chicken what's the egg McMuffin?
No.
Right. Yeah, chicken McDougal. I love that. All right. Did we talk about Joseph? We did, right? Early on when I taught him to say McDougals are the best.
Oh no, I didn't hear that story.
No.
We got to hear that story.
All right. So this is a good one. So, right. So I think I told you, right? Growing up, I was not raised in the most positive arena in life, right? And so McDougal's are broke. McDougal's always rent. I mean, that's the way I was raised, right? That's just what I heard. And it's very important. What you hear matters. That's why you're going to learn to read those scrolls in this book, because it's important what you say to yourself, right? And how you look at yourself. Oh, it says on both things. But so Joseph, when he was really young, I told you he was hanging out with me when he was really, really young, showing property, right? But as soon as it became verbal, I started, hey, Joseph, McDougal's are the best. McDougal's are the best. Right? I was just pouring that into him all the time. McDougal's are the best. So he later on, so he's out and about, and he's like 18 months, whatever it is, 2 years, starting to get verbal, right? And so they'd say, hey, little guy, what's your name? Joseph. What's your last name? McDougal's are the best.
I love it.
Yeah, so he went around the first, 3 or 4 years of his life thinking his last name was McDougal's are the best. All right, and I said, but what a great way, right? That's just a great way to go through life, right? Compared to me, growing up with hey, you know what, McDougal's are broke, and McDougal's, are always end up on the wrong side of the 8 ball and always behind the 8 ball, and all these things you hear. I'm like, no, how about let's be on the other side of that action, right? That's why I don't think it's Norman Vincent Peale or somebody that when people say, well, under the circumstances, he goes, what are you doing under those? Get on top of your circumstances. Don't be under your circumstances. Get on top of your circumstances. Love that. So, all right. So have a traffic generating event. Go do it. And remember, these are your commitments, right? This is simple. I got this. You got to be willing to change, honest and accountable. Read 1 book a month. Here's our book for this month.
What's the book of the month? Sorry.
Oh, this is not the book of the month. This is the book of the month for 100K. This is the book of the month for 100K. We have another book of the month for the overachievers of the book club. All right. Agree to read 1 book a month. Get 8 hours of sleep a night. All right. That's a tough one sometimes, but you can do it. All right. It takes discipline. Drink 64 ounces of water a day. Sometimes that's hard, right? I can do it a lot easier now, but it was a learned thing for me. Right. I got to be honest with you. My tongue was more naturally attracted to Dr. Pepper for some reason. Okay. That's right. I know it's terrible for you, isn't it? But it sure tastes good sometimes, Gene. I got to admit. All right. So
I like Dr. Pepper. I've had a few in my day.
I know.
I'm not knocking you.
Yeah, I've had a few in my.
Me, coffee in the morning, water, and wine at night. That's it.
There you go. That's not a recipe for success. Nothing is. That is a recipe for success. I love that. 30 minutes of cardiovascular exercise, 3 days a week. Volunteer to nonprofit, because when you start to get, remember I told you I was kind of feeling a little tired. Now I feel like I'm all energized. I'm ready to go. I got a treadmill upstairs. I'm going to hit the treadmill after we get off of here.
There you go.
All right. Donate 10% of your income to a church, because that's also giving outside of yourself, right? Church, synagogue, other nonprofit. If you're de-church, go give of yourself. Worship once a week. Just remember that you're not God. All right. Which is, I have that written on my mirror. Okay. So don't forget. All right. You're not God. And finish, right? Finish. Right? Yeah. Don't just start, finish, right? Sometimes we got to get to the point where we start, right? That's a start, but we also have to finish, right? It's critical. Cool. I think we're back on 2 weeks from tonight, right? That's the 18th.
18.
All right. In the meantime, go implement, go look at some of these things, and remember to go sit some open houses if you need some corn. Go do a one-on-one. Go read the book. Go do all of the above, and you're going to feel so much better when you actually start to have that small victory. Cool.
I got a question for you. What's our proverb of the day?
Oh, proverb of the day. Today is what's today? The 4th?
Today is the 4th.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see if I can pick one out. I read it this morning, but I used to, at one point I had the first 12 chapters of Proverbs memorized. I'd let it get away from me though. I wish but it'll come back to me. If I ever decided to do it again, I should do it. All right, let's pick it. There's got to be a good one, Geraldine. I know you're learning how to like Proverbs, aren't you?
Well, I like when you tell us, because they're condensed. The Reader's Digest version.
Well, I'm only reading one of the 28 verses or whatever that's it. Let's see. Wisdom.
Well.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
No, you know what I do? My dad was a military guy, in Venezuela, and I grew up, pretty much listening quotes from Patton. So that's what I do every morning. I put a Patton quote and I read it.
Who, a quote from who?
Gerald Patton from US.
Ah, yeah.
That's what they do.
Okay. I love General Patton. That's awesome.
like
You
it.
kidding? That dude's you talk about that dude. Yeah, you listen to Patton, he'll take your excuses and stomp on them.
Or
Yeah.
you.
Let's see.
Neither my dad.
Well, catch this. Here, Geraldine, ready? All right, just talking about getting wisdom,
I
right?
can't believe you said that. The 5th verse. That's very good.
See, look at that.
Looking at
Okay.
that.
Get wisdom, get understanding. Do not forget my words or swear for them. Do not forsake wisdom, and she will protect you. So here's a promise, right? If I don't forsake wisdom, she will protect you. Love her, and she will watch over you. Wisdom is supreme. Therefore, you got to remember, Solomon wrote this, right? Solomon had all the wealth in the world, but he came to and by the way, he didn't end well, unfortunately, right? It's kind of a sad story. But the reality is that of all the stuff he had, right? And guys, I mean, he had harems, like thousands of concubines, all right? Look up concubine if you don't know what it means, but it was, right?
Those guys wish they had
courtesans and concubines.
That's right, exactly. So, but he had all sorts of them, but he was learned to say that he craved wisdom above all, because you know what? It goes back to that whole thing we talked about, that is how important it is to know how to read. Because once I can read, I can teach myself anything, right? That's why literacy is so critical. If here's a good thing. If you're looking for a nonprofit, go work at a school and help kids after school work on their reading. You know what a gift that could be? You know how you could change a kid's life if you could teach them how to read? Oh my gosh. Because now the world, they could go learn anything if they can read, but if they can't, boy, that's they're stuck, right? So go do that. So anyway, and they get flowery on it.
It does.
This one's not so funny when you walk. Okay, perfect. All right, good. All right, I told you we'd let you go. You guys have a great couple weeks. Come to office hours if you need anything. And our new people, welcome. Great to have you.
See you the 18th.
Yeah, see you the 18th. Hey,
Bob.
Carl, real quick.
Thanks so much.
Carl, did you get that email I sent you with Chris? Yes? I think you're muted. No? Hang on. I can't hear. You can sign language to me. I can't hear you. Yes, no. Oh, not getting you. How about this? Look at me. Look at the camera. Did you get the email I sent? Okay, very good. We'll just do the old school. All right, love it. If you got any questions, Chris is a good guy. He's the guy I talked about that came from Publix, right? If you heard me, that's that same guy. So that'd be cool. Cool? Awesome. All right, guys, if you need anything, reach out. Let me know.
Thanks.
Have a great night.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
All right, good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you. Good